You are tuned in to G5 Jeff TV. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button as you come on in. We not playing no games. You see the title. It's going down. I got the VP here with me. VP Shane, what's going on, bro?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good.
Hey, let's talk about it, man. Mark Breland, Deontay Wilder. Bro, kick it off. Give me your thoughts, bro.
I mean, I don't want to say it came out of the blue, but to a lot of Wilder fans, it came out of the blue, which I found a bit hypocritical. Because if you throw stones, you gotta expect stones being thrown back, you know. And Wilder threw stones and he made heavy allegations, and I just feel like it's just fair for Breland to get his side of the story out. That's all I feel like. I feel like it's fair for him to say his side of the story, whether people agree or disagree. I feel like it's fair.
We got Low Key in the building. He said your beard got its own personality.
I'm assuming they're talking about Jeff because I don't have a beard. So
yeah, you pretty clean over there, Shane. J Rule's Theory, what's going on, bro? Big shout out to you. Man, we got my bro DT3 the Boom Man in the building, and you haven't checked his latest video out. Whoa. He went crazy. We got my bro Jalik the Leader in the building. What's up with you? Yeah, man, people were surprised that Breland took shots. But if somebody says that I spiked their water, I'm taking shots too.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just human nature. That's just life. Like, you know, it is what it is. Like, you can't take shots at somebody and then you're surprised that the person fired back.
When he fired back. Yeah. Of course.
Go ahead, Shane.
So when I look, I mean, we can take it from the jump. When we take it from the start, and I know there's a lot of people that's going to be thinking because I'm British, I'm going to be against Wilder. It's not because I'm against Wilder. I just feel like Wilder's a bit, he's being a hypocrite because he disrespected publicly Mark Breland. He disrespected him publicly. He sent allegations. To me, those allegations are massive, and he didn't even have the courtesy to actually speak to him one-to-one and say, you know what, I feel like you done this. He publicly disrespected him. So now he's done the same thing. He expects a certain level of courtesy that he didn't give. I just don't feel like that's fair.
Yeah, it's crazy. Couple of things on that. And this for the people that's in the chat too. Like, how do you know your water is spiked? Like, honest question. Like, how do you know your water is spiked? That's number one. Number two, who told him his water was spiked? And number three, when did he find out? Go.
This is the thing about this whole entire. I see DT3 the Boom Man said it tastes funny. This is the thing that I find funny. If I tell you, and this is the situation that Wilder's put himself in. He's put himself in this situation. If me and you are walking down the street, and then I go in a shop, and then I leave him, automatically you're gonna think I bought the item. And then if then I walk down the street and tell you I stole it, then you're gonna get the understanding that I stole it. Then if we walk further down the street and then I tell you that no, I didn't steal it, someone bought it for me, then you're gonna get. When your story constantly keeps changing, there's no way for someone to build this, that your argument loses validity. Firstly, it was one thing, and then all the way through there was a continuous change. Once he found a hole in that argument, he realized, oh, it can't be that, it has to be something else. It has to be something else. Whereas to me, it just seems like someone's very sour that they didn't win. That's the thing to me, because if we can speak about Glovegate all the time. We can speak about the water being spiked. We can speak about the costume being heavy. But if he firmly believed all of those, or believed one of those, there wouldn't be a need to push this argument of anything else. If your glove, if you felt like his gloves was done wrong, you shouldn't even need to speak about anything else because that's what it was. But the fact that you're bringing on all of these other things, to me, it's just telling you're using to strengthen an argument that you personally feel was weak. That's what I believe. Because you're always looking for more and more and more and more reasons to see why you lost. When if you felt you were cheated, you were cheated. There's no need to keep searching for excuses.
Yeah, J. Rule's theory said Wilder got excuses nearly a year later. That's the way it looked. That's the way it looked. Lil Key T said Fury cheated the glove, was effed. I don't know about this water thing. I'll get to that in a second. My bro L Dub Boxing in the building, man. He one of the best doing it. Big shout out to L Dub Boxing. DT3 said it tastes funny. And DT3 also said the costume he paid for, mind you. Let me get at that real quick, Shane. I'll address DT3 first. First of all, DT3, we just doing a quick one. We gonna be like official like next week, and we definitely gonna get DT3 on. Big shout out to DT3 the Boom Man. When you taste something that's funny, what do? Go like what was that?
Yeah.
You ain't see Wilder do that once in the second fight. So I mean the water thing, and I'm not saying Wilder's the only person that has accused someone of spiking water. I've heard that a couple of times. But I'm like, somebody has to tell you that your water was spiked. Like it has to be a physician or somebody in the medical field has to tell you that, because it's no different than like if somebody slipped somebody a Mickey or date rape drug or something like that. Like you may feel funny, but nobody's gonna tell you that unless you go to the hospital. It's assumption until someone in the medical field tells you that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Go ahead, Shane.
Am I freezing, by the way, or am I cracking?
You freezing a little bit, but go ahead.
Am I freezing and cracking? Because it seems like I'm freezing.
You are freezing. You want to jump out, come back in?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, jump out or come back in, bro.
All right, cool. All right. So
we're gonna get Shane back in here. DT3 said, and you won't keep drinking something that don't taste right. Exactly. And they would have told him at the hospital by now. Yeah, he went to the hospital after the fight. The hospital didn't say nothing. The VADA test came back clean. What I'm asking from Deontay Wilder is no different than what I would ask any person that made this accusation. Where's the proof? You know what I'm saying? See if we can get Shane back in here. Hold on a second, fellas.
I should be better now because I'm using my phone. I was using the laptop before.
You sound good. Go ahead, Shane. Talk your shit.
So, as I was saying before, I'm gonna go through Breland's comments and the things that I like and didn't like. So the first thing in Wilder's defense is when he's talking about Wilder not really using pad work and bag work and stuff like that. Some fighters just don't like to do that. Some fighters just like to spar. Some fighters like to do a lot of road work. I remember Floyd was one of those fighters who he done a lot of pad work and he done a lot of bag work and he done a lot of sparring. But some guys just like to do just sparring. So I don't really feel like that's necessary. But one thing I do feel like was necessary was how controlling Wilder was of his environment. I feel like that's a good thing. It's a good thing he's controlling of his environment and he has control of what he does and what's in his gym. And especially in terms of the vibe, if a fighter's feeling the wrong vibe, he has the right to express that. He's in control of his gym. What I would disagree with is when it comes to Breland and Breland saying that he didn't have a corner, he didn't have a cut man, and he didn't take certain training methods that Breland was taking serious. You could tell that that's the kind of character Wilder is, because Wilder believes so much in his power that will get him through. Now you're seeing that he's lost. You're seeing a lot of, he has nothing else to call on, so he has to blame somebody. And that's the thing that I didn't like about Wilder. The fact that he's using this as an opportunity to blame someone rather than looking within.
Let me get to these comments real quick. Neckel. Apparently Wilder was abducted by aliens before the Fury fight and they took his power away. That's funny. That's funny.
Is Neckles, is he new?
Yeah, Neckles new. Neckle definitely subscribe to the channel and subscribe to everybody that's in the chat too, because everybody rock with each other on the chat. We got D Hodges in the building. What's up, D Hodges? D Hodges know my boy DT3. Neckel, at this stage, Wilder just looks like a complete clown. Can't take his loss like a man. He finally been exposed and lacks the fundamentals of boxing. You can only get so far as a one-trick pony. Let me get at that for a second.
Go ahead.
Let me get at that. As much as I dislike what Wilder is doing right now, let me get something very straight. Regardless of opponents and things like that, Wilder went 42-0 with 41 knockouts with Breland and JD's. You got to give respect for that. Like, period. You got to give respect for that. Now, he went a long way being a one-trick pony. That's my point. You in the glamour division, you in the heavyweight division, and one shot can change your life. The fact that he went 42 fights without losing, and on top of that, he knocked out 41 of the 42. That's to be commended. That's success. Now, whether you feel like that doesn't reach your level of success, like your definition of success, that's cool. But when you go 42-0 with 41 knockouts with the same two guys in your corner, that's success. But at the same time, you find out about people when they lose.
Yeah.
You find out about people when they lose. And my thing is, when you accuse somebody of something, you better have the proof, you better have the evidence. Because I'm like, when you lie on somebody's name, like that's fuck shit. Like that's sucker shit. That's sucker shit. And bottom line is, I'm not saying that what Deontay Wilder is saying is false. What I'm saying is the things that he's claiming, he hasn't shown the proof for it. Until he tells me what he was drugged with, until he tells me that, or I'm like, who told you got drugged? Who told you got drugged?
You also got to remember, bro, in addition to this, before he got drugged, it was a case of someone in Fury's camp infiltrated Wilder's camp and told Breland to throw in the towel. I mean, you can clearly see that there's a sequence of delusion that's going on. There's something actually wrong with this guy's mental state. He just couldn't take the loss. And sometimes when you look in the mirror, the guy who you thought you was, you don't see anymore. So you're just using this as a defense, as a shield. Because I'll be honest, yeah, from the moment I've known Wilder, he always seemed like an insecure fighter. A lot of fighters are insecure. Mike Tyson was insecure. He said it as well. A lot of fighters are insecure, and normally the most aggressive fighters are the most insecure fighters, because those fighters, when they feel like they're under attack, they are over aggressive. And if you look at Wilder, he's always had that over aggressive nature. And I feel like that's just down to him being insecure about himself and how he looks at himself and how he perceives himself. He just overly wants to prove that he's the baddest man on the planet. If you believe that, you don't need to constantly keep saying it. But sometimes you say it so your opponent believes it, and to also lie to yourself. Sometimes Ali used to do it. So it's not like I'm taking it away from Wilder is just when he lost, all of those insecurities came to the surface, and he had no more defense. He had no more. There was no more of a shield, and that's what you're seeing. You're just seeing this massive chain of excuses.
Let me get back to the comments. Odd Nickel. I like Odd Nickel. We come in making comments. I like Odd Nickel.
Yes.
He got found out by the skills of Fury. He said he's new here. Appreciate you stopping through. Fuzzy TV, what's going on?
Is he new? It's because he knew.
Say it again.
Because he knew this guy. Is he new?
I think Cuzzy TV. I've seen Cuzzy TV before, but I think I've seen Cuzzy TV on another channel. But welcome. Definitely thank you for stopping through. Wilder literally said there was no proof. Hodges, that's defamation of character. I'll get to that in a second. Cuzzy TV, Wilder is saying that he never said Breland spiked his water. He's saying he has reason to believe he's just using a play on words. Hold on, one more. And Cuzzy said salute. All right, let me get at that first. As far as I respond to D Hodges first, that is defamation of character. It's defamation of character and it's slander. And I'm gonna continue to talk. It's defamation of character and it's slander. It's both. And Breland can sue. Like Breland can sue him if he wants. You know what I'm saying? So it is defamation of character. Now going to Odd Nickel. Odd Nickel said he got found out by the skills of Fury. Now Fury's a bad matchup for Wilder. Period. Skill-wise inside the ring, forget the water, forget the gloves and everything else. Tyson Fury is a bad style matchup for Wilder. That's just a fact. All right. And also with Fuzzy TV, in terms of Wilder playing on words, it goes back to what I said before. Who told you that your water was spiked? And this is why I keep asking this question. And this is according to Wilder. I'm not using no play on words. I'm using his words, period. He literally said his costume was too heavy and he didn't have no legs going into the fight. That was before a punch was thrown. That was before his name was announced. Shane, is that a fact?
Facts.
Okay, that's a fact. Now, Deontay Wilder said Tyson Fury had egg weights in his gloves. So he was getting hit with egg weights for 7 rounds. Is that a fact?
Fact.
Okay.
Or something was in the gloves. Something was in the gloves.
He said egg weights.
Okay, I didn't hear that. Go on.
He said egg weights. So he said egg weights was in Tyson Fury gloves. So you mean to tell me, out your own mouth, you said that your costume was too heavy. You had no legs going into the fight. And then on top of that, you were getting hit with egg weights for 7 rounds.
And the referee was drunk. You also have to remember the referee was drunk.
Yeah.
He said the referee was drunk.
And the referee. And those aren't reasons why you weren't feeling right. Like, how did you go through all of that? And then you figured out that your water was spiked. Like, it makes no sense. You went to the ring jacked up. You went to the ring fucked up. You know what I'm saying? You went to the ring fucked up. Then Tyson Fury fucked you up some more. And then you went to the back. You took a VADA test. You went to the hospital. VADA didn't find nothing, and the hospital released you. What were you drugged with? That's my question. What were you drugged with? This ain't about whose side I'm on. I'm like, where the evidence at?
Yeah, facts.
Where's the evidence? That's where I'm at. Because I'm like, I'm not with anybody that throws dirt on somebody's name and don't have the proof. Like, as a grown man, I can't respect that. And I love Wilder inside of the ring. I come off on Wilder. People think I'm a Wilder hater. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the case. He's had a successful career. But when you say another grown man spiked your water, I need more information than just that. You
Yeah,
got
of
to
course.
give me, you got to give me something else. Shane, before you go, let me get to the comments real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Get to the comments.
The comments is buzzing. All right, Cuzzy TV. Let's see. A. Jones told him. D. Hodges. I wish Fury didn't cheat. I think he could have won without it. We'll get to that in a second. D. Hodges. Before we get to that, tell me, are you talking gloves or are you talking water? If you're talking gloves, are you talking first fight or you talking second fight? I need that before we address that. D. Hodges, he has boxing skills. I'll definitely get that. I'm gonna let Shane go first. Let me get through the rest of these real quick. Sawa R. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. You gotta be new. So subscribe to me. Salute to you. Subscribe to me. Subscribe to everybody in the chat. Everybody rock with each other.
Get some comments as well. We're not talking about heavyweight boxing. We're talking about specifically Wilder and Breland. But
we're talking specifically Wilder and Breland. But Sawa, I promise you, if you subscribe to the channel, get with me on Instagram and all of that, we're definitely gonna be talking heavyweights. We're gonna be on live damn near every day. So this is just something that we just want to jump on for.
Yeah, put your comment. Anything you have to say about this topic specifically, put your comments in. We'll
put your comments in, and we get into it. I Nickel, LOL, D Hodges, you're a joker. It's about to start.
It's about to get talking.
Yeah, whatever he was drugged with, he's still high to this day. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. Sawa R says Wilder couldn't beat 50% Fury. D Hodges said gloves. Said there's proof in that pics. Hold on. D Hodges, we let you rock on here. Like you talk your shit, man. Like we not the type of people to be blocking folks and all. We don't do that. Sawa R, cool, I will. Cuzzy TV, you can request gloves after fight. Team Wilder never did. That's why Sugar Hill has them. Shane, hold on. Nickel said I subscribed and hit the like button from the UK here. Hey, Shane from the UK. You know what I'm saying? Shane from the UK. We coming to take over the UK too. Shane, give me like 2 minutes and then you can go.
Yeah, go on. I'm here. The comments are lit. I love the comments. It's good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna address a couple of folks. Let's start with we're gonna start with my boy D Hodges. He said there's proof.
I was gonna talk about that as well, but go on.
You know what? I'm gonna let you cook on that first, and then I'll respond because I'm kind of curious.
We're gonna say the same thing. Are you
talking about say it a different way? You're gonna say it a different way. Go ahead.
Are you talking about the first fight or the second fight? In the first fight, I can't argue that Fury's gloves definitely look either oversized or he didn't have his fist completely in. It's, by the way, that still doesn't mean it's illegal. It doesn't mean it's illegal. You can have oversized gloves, and if your glove, you don't have to have your gloves completely tied in. If there's movement in your glove, or if your glove can flop, it's actually legal. There's actually gloves that's designed that way. But if you're talking about the second fight, I personally haven't seen those pictures. So if you've seen those pictures, follow Jeff on Instagram. I swear to you, if you found pictures and video of the second fight with proof that Fury's gloves are looking like he cheated or he loaded them, please send them to Jeff. If Jeff sees those, he'll get you on the channel the next day. I guarantee you. If you have proof, he'll get you on the channel the next day. If you have proof of the second fight, I guarantee you. That's no cap, no lies. If you have proof of the second fight, you'll be on the channel.
All right. So D Hodges, to address what you said, the first fight, Fury glove was floppy. It's very easy to manipulate a pick. It's impossible for you to manipulate live video live on TV. Now, this is to show you how impartial Shane and I are. Shane didn't believe it initially. Now, after I get finished this, Shane, tell him if I'm lying.
No, you're telling me.
Shane. I called Shane. I said, bro, Fury glove was floppy. And he was like, nah. I said, bro, I'm about to send you a video of his glove being floppy. I sent them the video of his glove being floppy. Live video. Shane was like, all right, I can't deny that. That was a floppy glove.
But what sold it for me was anybody who has gloves, the tape shouldn't be at the bottom of the glove. If your hand's all the way in, the glove should be what's extended. The tape shouldn't be showing. And what convinced me was there was still a little bit of tape left, which told me that maybe the glove was the glove wasn't, his hand wasn't all the way in regardless.
And you can see the bottom of his wraps. You can see the bottom of his wraps. There was another way. Okay. The reason I said that I knew for a fact Fury glove was floppy in the first fight is because ESPN, Andre Ward, Tim Bradley, and all of them, they did a review of the first fight. And
just because I'm seeing the comments, just because we're saying his gloves was floppy does not mean we're saying he's cheating. Definitely don't get that confused. Because having a glove that flops is not the same as having a loaded glove or anything. Just don't get that wrong.
Right. So basically, Andre Ward was calling the highlights, and Fury hit him with that lead left hook, straight right hand. Deontay Wilder knees buckled. Andre Ward said, and I quote, "Hey, he has an open glove. That's an illegal shot." He literally said it on live TV. That's when I knew that his glove was floppy. It's something with that left glove that he likes as far as it being too big or being loose. It's something with that left glove because his whole left glove was replaced in a previous fight. We're not saying that Fury cheated with the floppy glove in the first fight. We're not saying that at all. But you can't deny that the glove was floppy.
I mean, every fighter tries to find any way where they can get an advantage. Maidana done it against Mayweather. We've seen it many times where fighters manipulate some fighters actually don't even have their gloves all the way taped up. Like I remember when Dylan White fought Joseph Parker, and there was literally like 2 layers of tape. It wasn't even tied up properly, and that just gave him so much more like flexibility with his wrist. So it doesn't mean you're cheating, by the way. Just to say that.
Let me get this comment out the way before I get back to the comment section. Boxing has a history of gloves. We've seen people with floppy gloves throughout history, right? If you know your boxing history. Secondly, just because a glove weighs 8 ounces, 10 ounces doesn't mean that the cushion is all in the knuckles. It doesn't mean it's all in one spot. So that's why some gloves are known as puncher's gloves and some are not known as puncher's gloves. Shane got a whole article on that. I don't know if you want to post that, Shane, if you got the link.
All you need to do is go on Google, type is what is a floppy glove, and the
Shane's article will pop up.
Yeah.
Let me get to the comments real quick. My boy DT3, remember Suleiman is backstage watching the hand wraps, and they check the gloves before they even put them on for the fight. Let me address that real quick. DT3, not only was Suleiman back there, but the State Athletic Commission is back there. Fury's team is back there. JD's is back there. There's a lot of people back there, and that's not even including the inspectors. So we weren't there that night. All I'm saying, a lot of people got to get paid off for that to happen. Like what's being explained. Like a lot of people got to get paid off. Like the WBC got to be in on it. The State Athletic Commission got to be in on it. The inspectors, JD's has to be in on it. The inspectors has to be in on it. In a sense, JD's got to be in on it. And on top of that, they gotta hide it. That's a lot. Like I know the whole Daniel Kinahan thing and all that is hot right now, but I'm like, boxing has seen gangsters since the beginning of its existence. He's just another gangster. Like he's just another gangster. Like It is what it is.
I need
So
the English. He ain't even American. That fight was in
not even
America.
American. And I'm like, and the thing is, I'm like, the WBC doesn't even benefit from doing all of that because they make their money off of sanctioning fees. And I tell Shane this all the time. Tyson Fury has never made a title defense before in his life. So they're not going to make no sanctioning fees off of him. With Wilder, you knew he was going to fight. He was going to fight twice a year. They was going to collect a check twice a year. So unless WBC got paid off a whole bunch of sanctioning fee money, that's asking a lot. I'm not saying it didn't happen. That's asking a lot. Let me go to D Hodges real quick. D Hodges said pictures. Hold on. Yeah, the comment section popping. Hold on. Give me a second. All right, DT3 said he washing dishes. That's how a real man wash dishes, man. I don't have no man, damn a dishwasher. Like, damn all that. Yo, said D Hodges says second fight.
You have to show me. You have to show me those because
send them to me because I haven't seen them. I haven't seen them, bro. So is the WBC in on it? Got DT3. Hold on a second, bro. Let me scroll down. It's my first time being on a StreamYard on a laptop. It's crazy. Let me see. Can't prove water, but we got pictures of gloves. It's on. Yeah. He said it's on. He said it's on YouTube. Hold on. DT3 said, how did the gloves change from backstage to the ring? Fuzzy TV said that's not considered cheating. Let me get at that real quick, Shane, and then I'm gonna let you go. Hold on, we got my bro in the building, man. Blaze Philly 215. That's my bro. He need to get his channel started. I will definitely say that. Hold on. Sawa R. Fury didn't cheat, but WBC is corrupt. I'll get to that in a second too.
Don't say anything that will have me liable. That's all I'm saying.
Nah. Okay, so let's address. We're gonna go to D Hodges first. As far as the pictures, I've seen pictures from the first fight, right? I've seen pictures from the first. I've seen film on the first fight. I've seen pictures of the first fight. If you would have said first fight, I'd have been like, all right, cool. I know what you're talking about. Second fight, I'm gonna have to find them. If you can send me a link, send it. Because what was happening is a lot of people was saying that it was funny stuff with the gloves after Wilder lost. Then they were showing pictures from the first fight. I'm like, you can't have it both ways. I'm like, the evidence is actually from the first fight. The evidence was from the first fight. The second one, bro, if you got the pictures, please send me a link or I'll go on a hard search for it. Because I haven't seen what people
way.
Go ahead.
I say the easiest way to tell the difference is in the first fight, he has red tape. In the second fight, he has white tape. Right. So if you send any floppy glove with white tape, that's the second fight. If you send anything with white tape, and if you're gonna show me a picture of where the gloves are indentated from where he's thrown a punch, don't do that because I've seen that, and I can literally give you several fights where gloves have indentations where you throw a punch. I can literally give you several fights, not just Wilder and Fury. I can give you several fights, literally so many fights where you see indentation. So I want to see film of floppy glove.
Yeah, I would rather see some footage. Yeah, because it's harder to doctor footage. I've seen some fucked up pictures. You know, there's some people that's pretty good at manipulating pictures. I would like to see some live video. I've seen live video from the first fight, so that's why I don't argue the first fight. I don't argue it at all.
But the problem with the first fight was when it was a draw, and this is what we spoke about off camera. When the fight was announced as a draw, every Wilder fan was arguing about the fact that Wilder had Fury had a 10-second count. They didn't say Fury had a floppy glove. So all of a sudden, there's another excuse after the fact. That wasn't the excuse in the first place. The first place was Fury had a 10-second count. And if you want to say he did, okay, that's fine. But what's the need for this other excuse? That's not necessary.
Well, and this is the thing, and let me tell you how down the middle I am as far as this situation. My boy Blaze Philly 215, right? He was very adamant about Fury and what happened in the first fight. Very adamant. And I had a whole conversation with him about it. You know what I'm saying? Had a whole conversation with him about it. And that just goes to show it don't matter. On here, it don't matter what your opinion is. It don't matter what your opinion is. Only time we'll get pissed off at you is if you got an opinion and you don't say it. Then we gonna get pissed off. We don't care what people's opinions are in here. So I would rather see video from the second fight, but if you got pictures, shoot me the link. And we be in other people's lives anyway. We be in the same people's lives. So D Hodges, we definitely gonna link up as far as that is concerned. We're gonna go back to the comments. Cuzzy TV, name the fights with indentations.
Okay, so when Terrence, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad
Good
you brought that up
question.
because I'm an off the dome kind of guy. I can do off the dome. When Crawford, and I sent the link to Jeff as well. When Crawford fought Jeff Horn, he had horsehair gloves on. He had massive indentations in his gloves. When Kubrat Pulev went to Germany, I think, and he went to Germany and he fought Klitschko. Klitschko had Puff and Sport gloves on. By the way, I'm not reading anything. This is just off the dome. He had indentations in those in that fight. In most of Klitschko's fights, he had indentations because he liked to use Puff and Sports. Even when Tyson Fury fought Klitschko, he used Puff and Sport gloves as well. And those, because the cushion doesn't always bounce back to its shape, it always leaves an indentation for where your knuckles are. And what Jeff was saying earlier was when a glove isn't evenly distributed over, just because the glove is weighed the same, doesn't mean it's evenly distributed around the hand. So if I'm pushing the glove, the foam, or it's not memory foam, it's not a mattress. So what happens is it doesn't always spring back. So it always leaves indentations in the knuckle. So as I said, Crawford versus Horn, Kubrat Pulev versus Klitschko versus Tyson Fury. Let me think of some more that I can remember. I'd have to do research, but that's just 3 off the dome. I can remember.
Listen, that's 3 off the dome. Cuzzy TV. You can check that. You can fact check that. Get back with us. Sour R. Nah, they say second fight gloves weren't floppy, but the patent was taken out. Let me get that. Please let me get that.
Go on.
Sour R. It goes back to what I said earlier. If the padding was taken out, Mauricio Suleiman was back there, WBC was back there, the inspectors was back there, JD's was back there. And apparently there were cameras back there.
In fact, when were we? Sorry, go on.
All I'm saying, Sour R, I'm not saying if I'm not, I don't know if you're just relaying that information or if that's what you believe. All I'm saying, I wasn't in there. A lot of people got to get paid off. A lot of people got to get paid off for that to happen. That's I'm gonna leave it right there. Shane, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say. In fact, even when Ruiz fought AJ, I just remembered in the first fight there was indentation in the glove, but it's just because when you punch, it's not memory foam. Boxing gloves aren't memory foam. So unless you got weak and like Wilder has hand troubles, so he's gonna have foam that's very protective of his hands, and he doesn't need the extra. Friction because he's got so much power and force. Certain people who have very strong bones and good bone density, like someone like O'Hara Davis, for example, they have gloves that have less padding in it, so they don't just spring back. They want, like even Tyson, we used to say, they want their knuckles to go through, and they want those indentations. So they literally, there's fighters who are in the in the dressing room and they're pounding the pads just to get their knuckles through, just so when they go into the fight, they already have massive indentation in the gloves. That's a fact. That is even Mike Tyson said that. So it's definitely not new in boxing.
And let me add on to that. And what I'm getting ready to say is this is from a person that owns a glove company, and I'm gonna get him on too. I remember him telling me a story. I shot him out. My guy, Put Up Your Dukes. That's the name of his company. But he make gloves, customized gloves. He literally told me he made gloves for this kid in New York. Dude loved the gloves. He got a victory. He called the glove guy. He said, the next time you make the gloves, can you make sure it's less padding in the knuckle? Because I didn't get the knockout. Guy from the glove company Put Up Your Dukes. He said, yo, I'm not doing that. I'm not sacrificing my integrity as a company. If you got power, you're going to knock somebody out regardless. And that's a fact. And I'm going to get him on so he can confirm that. But on here, we talk, learn, and educate. And we're not, as hosts, we're not naive to the point to feel like we can't learn from people that's in the comments section. You understand what I'm saying? So I definitely want to put that out there. Blaze Philly 215, man, F that count. Nothing was wrong with the count to me. Who said there was something wrong with the count?
No, people were saying it in the first fight. People were saying
that in the first fight. Nah, I didn't have a problem with the count because it wasn't in the UK. Like I know in the UK, like the count of 9 is basically 10. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a little different. Am I wrong? Am I wrong about that, Shane?
In the UK, what it is basically if you get knocked down like Tyson Fury done, they will count to a certain number, and if they don't see response, they wave off the fight. That's a fact. Remember, I've spoken to the head of the Boxing Board of Control, and that's how they do it. If a fighter if they're not responding after a certain count, so it doesn't even necessarily have to be 9. When it was Chisora versus White, and I know that fight because I actually was speaking about that fight in context, was when he counted to 4 and he wasn't responding, then he waved the fight off. 1, 2, 3, 4, it's over. Fury reached like 5 or 6 and he wasn't responding. And in 7, 8, 9, he got up.
Yeah, and to go to Blaze Philly 215 point, the reason why I didn't have a problem with the count is because Jack Reese said in the pre-fight instructions that if you get knocked down, I'm going to give you an opportunity to get up. He told him that in the pre-fight. And it's recorded. It's recorded. So I didn't have a problem with the count. Fury got up before 10. And to be honest with you, Fury won the rest of the 12. I mean, of course, Wilder won the round 10-8, but he won the rest of that round. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't have a problem with the count either, Blaze Philly. He said if Fury was KO, he wouldn't have gotten up. Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't have gotten up. Like, it's like that's the one thing Fury doesn't get credit for, the fact that he got up from that shot. Like those 2 shots.
But people are forgetting Brazil had an opportunity to get up. It's just when he got up, he was finished.
Yeah, he was. But the thing is, he got up. It was just a count of like 12, like 13. You know what I'm saying? L-Dub boxing. He said Shane off the dome. That's how Shane do, man.
Yeah.
Shane off the dome. You know what I'm saying? Blaze Philly said, "Man, I need to call in, bro. We're not gonna be on here much longer, but we're gonna on the next show. I'm gonna send you the link. You can definitely jump on. That's my bro, like in real life. Blaze Philly 215. TV. Can't forget an egg weight was added. Let me get at that real quick. Okay. How do you know it was an egg weight? Right? How do you know it was an egg weight? It could be a lot of things. Like how do you know it was an egg weight? Number 2, if it was an egg weight in his gloves, JD's was in the back watching it. So why does he still have a job? Yeah, why does he still have a job? Even if he wasn't in on it, the fact that it happened on his watch, would be the reason why he's fired.
But you would break your hand if you have an egg weight with no padding. You have no padding.
You're gonna break your hand. Like your hand is gonna be fucked up. And on top of that, remember on Casino when the dude was working the floor and shit, and it was like 2 jackpots that hit in the slot section, and the dude fired it. It's similar to that. I'm like, yo, like it happened on your watch. You got to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta go. You know what I mean? So it's just bro, an egg weight. Oh, so let me explain. Let me ask this. If he had egg weights in his gloves, why didn't they fall out or something like after he took the gloves? Because he took the gloves off in the ring. He took them off in the ring.
To sing on live camera.
It's just like come on. I'm a move on. So our R said, don't believe that. Just hear them say it. Yeah, for sure. Father Christmas is in the building. Father Christmas, we appreciate you jumping on. You definitely got to sub to the channel. Sub to everybody that's in the comment section. I know you knew because your beard thicker than mine. I know you knew. You know what I'm saying? For sure. He said Tyson Fury is the king. I think EJ is a little better, but you know, we'll say that for another day. Cuzzy TV, yeah, interview a glove manufacturer. We need experts on this. Okay, so Cuzzy TV, it's a glove company called Put Up Your Dukes. And he makes gloves. And I talked to him for about like an hour off camera when the issue was hot, when the issue was fish grease hot. And this was at a weigh-in. You know what I'm saying? So I'll definitely get him on. Cuzzy TV, definitely make sure to follow us on Instagram. I'm Box with G5 Jeff TV on Instagram. Shane is IM_Shane on Instagram. Definitely follow us on there. We'll definitely send you the link for when we do the interview and when we drop it. I wanted to get him. I'm glad you said that because I wanted to get him on anyway because he needs promotion for his company anyway. His gloves is fire, like flames. You know what I'm saying? Father Christmas said, joking, Wilder is such a better boxer. Yeah, you joking. You joking. Hold on. The boxing, you right, G5, that happened with Chisora versus Malik Scott.
What happened with Chisora versus Malik Scott?
He's talking about hold on. You right, G5? No, he must be he talking to you, Shane. I wonder if he talking about the glove. I wonder if he talking about the glove thing.
Maybe. Correct us in the comments. I don't know.
Correct us in the comments. I think he's talking to you, Shane. I think he might be talking about the indentation thing.
Maybe. That might be another fight.
Yeah. Blight Sneed, what's going on, player? I know you knew as well. Definitely subscribe. The reason Wilder got the dent is because JD's compressed the iron, no swell too hard. The egg weight theory is retarded. Shane, let me get at that real quick.
Go ahead.
Blight Sneed, we appreciate you jumping on, man. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to us on Instagram. Like we're gonna get people that are subscribed on the show as guests. Like
we had one on the last one. We had one on the
last one. So that's our thing. Like we're gonna get people that are subscribers on as guests. Like, so not only do we not block you for your opinion, but we actually get you on the show. Like you actually in the show. You know what I'm saying? So definitely rock with us. As far as the dent, Blight, I'm gonna make it real simple. Even if, and first of all, the funny thing is they said he had an autopsy. Like they said he had an autopsy, but all right, cool. Like it's crazy because I'm like, if he had a dent in the side of his head, right, and the dent wasn't from a punch, does the dent have Fury's name on it? I'm gonna tell you why I asked that. Deontay Wilder has fought, and this not even counting the amateurs. He has fought, what, 44 times?
Something like that, 44, 43 times, something like that.
He's fought 43, 44 times in the pros. That's not counting how many fights he had in the amateurs. That's not counting how many times he fought somebody in sparring. So you mean to tell me out of all of that boxing, you got a dent in the side of your head, and they told you when the dent happened and Fury did it? Hey, come on, and then hold on, and then to cap it off, if you have a dent in the side of your head, I'm like, how are you passing a medical to fight?
But he's saying it occurred during the fight, and I'm not saying it didn't occur during the fight, but maybe he just punched you so hard that it just ended up. I don't know, man.
You can release medical records. You can release your own medical records. I'm not saying it didn't happen. Show me. That's all I'm at. Show me. That's all I'm asking. Show me. I'm not saying nobody lying. Show me. Show me. That's it. Hold on. Blaze 215. JD don't know shit about boxing and wrapping hands or gloves, and they knew that. Blaze, JD's is not known for being a boxing mind. Even if you don't know JD's, I think you should know that for a fact, strictly because he asked Mark Breland to come in. Am I right about that? If you're a technical mind, you might bring somebody else in maybe after a loss or a tough fight, or you just need a extra set of eyes or something like that.
Not from the beginning. Not from
the jump, though. Like, not from the beginning. So that's an indictment on JD's in terms of his boxing IQ. And I'm not saying he don't know his boxing. I'm not saying, because I don't know, but I'm just saying he has the reputation of a person that doesn't know their boxing. And Blaze Philly 215, and to add on to that, the fact that, again, all of that happened on his watch. All of that happened on his watch. People get it confused. Mark Breland's not the head trainer.
No.
JD's is. So for every time he stepped into the ring with Tyson Fury and there was something wrong with his glove, it's on JD's. And I'm like, how do you still have a job? How do you still have a job? I don't understand it. We're gonna keep it moving though. Blight Sneed, next thing you know, Fury hit a knife inside his glove. Man, I ain't going there with you, Blight. I ain't going there with you, man. L-Dub Boxing, I'm talking about the referee count. Oh, yeah, a referee count. It's 9 and then wave off. Like in the Justora Scott fight. Facts. Facts. Cuzzy TV, using an inswell wrong can cause a dent.
Definitely. That's true. Because remember, if it's something swelling, it's soft. That part of your head is soft. So by putting pressure, could easily create an indentation in your head as well.
But that indentation stayed there for a long time. I ain't know it was permanent. It was permanent. I'm just asking. I don't know. Cuzzy TV, look up Nonito Donaire versus Fernando Montiel, and you'll know that you can punch a dent in somebody. He's a 118-pounder too, by the way. No, we'll check that out. We'll definitely check that out. Off the top of the dome, I don't remember like per se, but no, we'll check that out. We'll check that out for sure. Hold on a second, yo. Hold on. I gotta get my charger.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie to you. There's probably many occasions where fighters have like just getting hit heavy or hit with punches consecutively in the same place. You end up getting indentations. I've seen many things. I've seen many things happen in boxing. So having an indentation in your head isn't even isn't even the most severe thing that I've seen in boxing, to be honest. I've seen guys with holes in their head. I mean, look at when Buddy Jack fought Marcus Brown. I don't think I ever would have seen a guy literally have a gash in the middle of his head.
And they let him fight on.
Exactly. So
it's crazy. Blight said Cuzzy TV, that's what I'm saying, bro. JD's did it. The thing about JD's, it's when you tell that many stories, and I'm talking Wilder, when you tell that many stories, you implicate a lot of people.
Of course, of course.
You implicate a lot of
You
people. So I'm like,
basically
you can't just,
You're
yeah, like
basically
you can't just say, hey, this happened or that happened or whatever, and that's it. You
but
can't
then
say that.
but then he contradicts himself because, as you said, if all of this happened under JD's watch, the first thing I would do is, if I truly believe that the guy who's watching over all of this, he has to go. First thing, he has to go.
Right. And that's my thing. I'm like, how do you fire somebody off of an accusation that you have no proof over, but you don't fire the person that basically was responsible for you having a dent in your head? Not like what, like Boxing First Vlog, like Blunt, he say it all the time. Just sit it right there, sit it right there. Like Boxing First Vlog say all the time, a lot of times you just got to add common sense to situations to make it make sense. You know what I mean? And that's what we're doing. Like, you know, we're not pro anybody. We're not anti anybody. You know what I mean? Like, what we're doing is we're bringing up situations and we're asking common questions. And that's all. And we're probably we're one of the most unbiased channels, period. Anybody will tell you that. Anybody will tell you that. Like, everybody gets
We
it over
both
here.
pick Wilder to win, by the way. So
And
you might think that we're hating on Wilder. I definitely pick Wilder to win.
I picked Wilder to win the second fight too. And we talked about that, and that's on record. So we broke that whole thing down. We broke that whole thing down, man. Like, nobody expected Fury to do what he did in that second fight. Nobody expected that, and that's 100% facts. Hold on. Cuzzy TV. I've seen Munguia punch dude lip off, and you know the thing that's funny about that? Toriano Johnson. We actually gonna have him on the channel. So it's funny that you said that. I just reached out to him last week. We
Am
definitely
I
gonna get.
frozen? Oh, it looks like Jeff's frozen. Or is it me? Who was frozen there? Was it you or me?
We good.
Alright, fair enough. Cool.
Yeah, we good. Robert Brown, the whole heavyweight division is, I guess, trash. Shane, you want to speak on that? I don't necessarily agree with that, but we can
I
speak on that.
definitely don't agree with that. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I assume you're either a person who's from another era of boxing, and you just put. Did I freeze again?
No, go ahead.
From another era of boxing, and you just prefer that era of boxing to this one, or you're either a guy who was a Wilder fan who is annoyed that Wilder lost, and you just don't want to entertain it anymore. Either way, personally, I feel like it's entertaining enough, and it's definitely value for money.
All right, so let me add on to that. Robert Brown, we definitely want for you to be more specific in that, but let me just respond to what you said. Tyson Fury, really good heavyweight. AJ, really good heavyweight. Wilder is still a good heavyweight. He's still a good Usyk, good fighter. Usyk, good fighter. Alexander Povetkin, good fighter. Dillian White, good fighter. Joe Joyce is on the come up, good fighter. Michael Hunter, good fighter. You know what I'm saying? We got guys on the come up. We got guys on the come up too. Like, you got a year ago, you wouldn't have said Adam Kovnatski would be like, there's 15 or 20 other heavyweights that's better than Adam Kovnatski. I can make the claim that there's 15 to 20 guys better than Adam Kovnatski right now. That's how deep the heavyweight division is. If you want to say it's top heavy, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? But to say that the heavyweight division is trash, nah, it's deep.
It's definitely entertaining. I'll tell you that. It's definitely entertaining.
It's very, very entertaining. But Robert Brown, we're gonna give you a chance to speak your mind. Let us know how many heavyweights do you think are good? Let's start there. Robert Brown, the only thing Deontay did was bring back the heavyweight division with his KO.
I knew this was the case. I knew Robert Brown was a Wilder. I knew he was a Wilder fan. Because I know a lot of guys like that. I agree with you. inside the ring, Wilder's one of my, and I said this to Jeff, he's one of the guys I like to watch the most in terms of just entertainment. He entertains me the most. But boxing isn't always about just a knockout. And Wilder's not the only one who gets knockouts as well. There's many fighters who gets knockouts. So to me, as a boxing hardcore fan, I appreciate everything that comes with Wilder, everything that comes with Fury, everything that comes with someone like Usyk. You know, it's not. I don't expect boxing to just be one blanket sport and everybody just meet in the middle and just trade it off, because that's not the way the sport is.
And let me add on to that. There's nothing more entertaining than a flawed fighter.
Of course.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's the reason why people love watching Deontay Wilder.
And they hate watching Floyd.
They hate watching Fury. That's the reason why they love watching AJ. He's a flawed fighter. Amir Khan is one of the most flawed fighters in boxing. But because of his flaws, when he fights, you're tuning in. You're watching. So it's nothing like a flawed fighter. L Dub Boxing with the super chat. Appreciate you, bro. He says, salute fellas for the boxing talk. G5, Jeff, and Shane. I was on L Dub joint last night, and L Dub, I definitely wasn't expecting to be on here this long, so I didn't send any links out.
Next time.
We're gonna get you in on the next one. You'll be kicking it off. I'll get with you as far as your schedule and all that, because I know you do your lives and everything. So we'll coordinate and make that happen. So we're gonna have a G5 Jeff TV, VP Shane, and L Dub Boxing live coming to you soon. We can discuss topic and everything. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make it happen. Speak your mind, sports talk. Shout out to you. Shane, Speak Your Mind Sports Talk might be new to you, but he's not new to me. What's going on, family? He's definitely subscribed to the channel. We're gonna get you on to a lot of these guys have channels, so we gonna be doing collabo videos and all of that. You know what I mean? Robert Brown said Linux World beat him up. Yo, Robert Brown. Yo, you all right with me? Hey, Robert Brown. We Shane and I did a Lennox Lewis video a while ago. On how Lennox Lewis would do against the top 10 heavyweights right now. Once just type in Lennox Lewis when you go to my page, go to my YouTube channel, and the video should pop up. But that joint was dope. I think you had Lennox Lewis what, like
9-1.
You had him 9-1. I think I had him 7-3.
You had him. I thought you had him 8-2.
I might have had him 8-2. I think I had him 8-2. But yeah, that video was fire. But Robert Brown, definitely go check that out. We both Lennox Lewis fans too. So
my dad loves him.
And Shane dad loves him. Blight Sneed, I honestly want to see Joyce versus Usyk. Hey, bro, I'm with it. I'm with it. It's happening. Yeah, it's happening. That's a good fight. Joe Joyce just don't have the footwork. And I'm talking about quickness.
Yeah, he's not sharp enough.
Yeah, the thing is, Usyk is gonna be able to turn him and not have to give up real estate. He had to give up real estate against Chisora because Chisora was aggressive.
I was just about to say Chisora is so aggressive. He just had this disregard for defense. He just came forward. Like, you rarely see a fighter just come forward, take whatever you give me, I'll take all. He paid no admission fee and walked straight through the door. If you expect Joe Joyce to do that, then you haven't watched Joe Joyce fight before. Joe Joyce is actually one of the cleanest fighters, which means he's not going to throw punches until he's in range, and he only likes to fight at a specific range. Yeah. That's the worst thing against Usyk, because Usyk, if you're trying to beat Usyk on just outlanding him in terms of punches and landing the clean and effective work, you might as well just give up from the beginning.
It's not going to happen. And the thing is, a guy like Usyk, if he can turn you and still stay in the pocket, that's going to be bad. Them jabs he was landing on Dubois, Usyk ain't going to be around for that. He ain't going to be around for that. And that's just a fact. But it's a good style matchup. I'm interested to see what Joyce actually does.
I'm looking forward to that fight, because if Usyk wins, maybe people will start giving him a bit of credit, and actually respect his boxing skills. I still think people are kind of sleeping on Usyk's skills right now.
Yeah, I think with Usyk, like we say with Dimitri Bivol, like I think people just don't know what they're watching. Like when I watch fights different. I talked to L Dub about this yesterday. Like some people watch fights and they just watch them different. Like it's kind of like football. Like when you people that's real football heads, like they'll watch football and their eyes is on the offensive and defensive line. Like you know what I mean? Like some people just watch fights different.
Yeah,
I think with Usyk it's just a situation where people don't know exactly what I give you a prime example. BoxingFirst Vlog, that's my bro. That's my bro. He a part of the channel, part of the show. Big shout out to BoxingFirst Vlog. I think he working right now. But he watched the Usyk and Chisora fight, and he had a completely different view on it than you and I. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like some people just view fights different ways. You know what I'm saying? So I think with Usyk, if you really know what you're watching, you see what's going on technically. But if you don't know what you're watching, you might think he's running. You might think he's avoiding. You might think he's just not combative, like he's just trying to stay out the way. Like if you break down the scientifics of it, you'll see what Usyk is doing. What he did to Chisora after round 3, classic. You know what I'm saying?
How much comments is there? You have a lot of comments. Let's get to them.
Yeah, I got it. Robert Brown said Fury a cocaine PD user and he's down with the mob. Facts. Yes. I mean, Daniel Kinahan is a part of the mob. He's affiliated with him on a boxing tip. Yes, sir. He was out of boxing because he was on cocaine. Yes. He had a positive drug test, PEDs. Yes. Nobody's denying that at all. Speaking mind boxing, he said, L boxing, what's up? New boxing wave media. He said, man, we got to talk about boxing as a whole, bro, because these new boxers are making me sick. What new boxers? What new boxers? Yeah, you have
to be specific because for every five you mention that you don't like, I can name 5 that I like.
That I do like. Yeah, give us some examples, bro. Hold on. And new boxing wave media. Once you start dropping videos again, bro, like we gonna throw you on the channel, man. Put your link out there. Elder Boxing, speak your mind. All right. Robert Brown, I'm old school. Foreman, Lennox, Mike would beat Fury, AJ, and Wilder. Let me get at that real quick. Shane already said you got to be an OG.
I knew this guy. I've never met you before.
I knew it. So when you said the heavyweight division is trash, did you really mean that there's no heavyweights right now that can survive in the era that you like? I think that might have been where you getting at. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I would answer your comment this way. Address your comment this way. Do I think AJ can fight in the old era? I think he could. Would he be a top 5 guy in the old era? No, he wouldn't. But can he fight in that old era?
I wouldn't even say no, he wouldn't. I wouldn't even say no, he wouldn't.
The reason why how far back we going. Depending on how far back we going.
I don't think the reason why I say I wouldn't say he wouldn't is because everybody's a product of their environment. So the reason why I say that boxing, like anything in the world, is something that evolves. So the reason why Fury Mike Tyson was such a revolution was because no one's seen someone so short with such and so powerful with such great head movement. That wasn't something that you saw coming forward in a defensive come forward fight. It wasn't something you saw. When Ali was fighting, no one saw someone so big and so tall and so heavy with such great foot movement. My point is, what you do and what you see is the generation after you learns more as they see you. So Ali couldn't learn about Tyson because Tyson didn't exist yet. But people who were after Tyson could learn about Tyson. So the reason why I feel like it's unfair to say, oh, this person couldn't survive in an era is because you're looking at a person from a perspective of he's in an era where everybody's not used to that style. Mike Tyson was fighting against fighters who's never seen a style like that before. They've never seen it. So of course he's going to look much better because he don't know how to fight against it. I just feel like we have to just separate the errors.
Yeah, he was ahead of his time. He was ahead of his time. Like that's just what it is with Tyson. Robert Brown, Usyk is a bad man, hard to fight because he moves a lot and throws combos. That's facts. 100%.
By the way, Robert Brown, just your old head. You said you're old head yourself, so we need a balance in the comments.
Yeah,
so
we
always subscribe. Always,
yeah, we got. Because we'll talk old school boxing just as much as new school boxing. So this the place you want to be. We got hold on. I just went past the comment. Give me a second. TV Team Wilder is very vague in explaining what happened on fight night. They can't give you any names or details. That's my thing, Cuzzy TV. If you're not gonna give me names or details, unless you're gonna file a lawsuit, I'm not really trying to hear it. I'm like, you're no different than a tabloid. You know what I mean? Like you're no different than a tabloid. A person, somebody that's spreading the story and they don't have no evidence. That's what goes on the tabloids. You know what I'm saying? That's no disrespect, but that's the definition of a tabloid. Cuzzy TV, the whole 135-pound division are a bunch of IG models.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I agree with that too.
The only person, in fact, the only person I would say who's not an IG model is Tiafimo because he does back it up in the ring.
Backed it up in the ring.
He does post on IG a lot. Devin Haney, Tank, Ryan Garcia, Loma, they're all a load of IG. They got IG clout.
It's Tiafimo. I would say maybe Richard Comey's not an IG model.
Yeah,
outside of the top 10, I mean, Rolly Romero's an IG model. Jackson Marinas can fight. BoxingFirst Vlog boy Emmanuel Tegu, he's not.
Now he's at 135.
Yeah. So but generally speaking, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Speak your mind, sports talk. What do y'all think about Haney versus Fortuna, possibly Ryan versus Fortuna? Shane, I'll let you go first.
Nope. I don't want to see Haney fight anyone other than a person that he's supposed to lose against, because he's calling out, he's saying that he's the real champ and he's the real WBC champion, and we all know that Tiafimo is. If you want to take that title, you have to be fighting people. Fortuna is a credible opponent, but to me, you look extremely, extremely under. It was an anticlimax in your last fight against Gamboa. So I really want to see you fight someone who's actually going to be like, oh wow, Devin Haney beat that guy. Fortuna is not that guy in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I forgot the guy's name, but he used to argue me up and down saying Fortuna would beat Haney. It's a solid fight for Haney. It's definitely be the best fight on his resume, no doubt about it. I would expect Haney to win that fight. But Fortuna got a shot. He definitely has a shot for sure. And Ryan Garcia versus Fortuna. Oscar De La Hoya is going to move Ryan Garcia like he moved Canelo. He's not going to put him in any situation where he feel like it's 50-50. Like Ryan Garcia, Fortuna, that's a 50-50 fight as far as I'm concerned. That's a 50-50 fight. BoxingFirst Vlog is not going to like I just said that, but he ain't on here, so I ain't got to worry about BoxingFirst Vlog. Big shout out to my bro. We're going to keep it moving. Give me a second. We got a lot of comments.
Yeah, let's get to them. Let's get to them. I'm loving the comments, by the way.
I'm loving the comment section, man. Big shout out to all y'all. Speak Your Mind Sports Talk says Ryan and Fortuna might be squaring off, and Haney may be fighting Linares next. Not a bad.
I would like that fight.
Yeah, not a bad shout for Haney if both of his mandatories are about to fight each other. Yeah, I like that fight though. Like Haney and Linares, I like that fight. I really do, because I'm like, Haney goes into a fight knowing he's the faster guy. It's going to be interesting to see what he does against a guy that's just as fast as him. Now, Linares is not as quick. There's a difference between quick and fast. Haney's definitely the quicker fighter. But in terms of pure hand speed, Linares is right there. He got some of the fastest hands in the sport.
And Linares is still vulnerable enough to where Devin Haney's gonna think, you know what? I might put a little bit more on the gas, a little bit more on these shots because I might be able to get him out of there. I don't want Haney to go into a fight. Let's say he was fighting someone, let's say like let's just imagine Robert Easter was still at 135. I wouldn't want to see him fight that fight because you know when Haney fights someone who he struggles to get out of there, he kind of just goes through the paces and just wins rounds and picks up the rounds. And I don't really want to see that. I want to see him put on a good display. And I feel like the Norris is the perfect.
Yeah, I want to see. I want to see Haney the way he fight and sparring. He put up them sparring clips and he tearing dudes up. I want to see that in a fight. Like I want to see that in an actual fight against.
How much comments you got?
We got a couple. I'm gonna get to them real quick. Speak your mind, sports talk. Well said, fam. Fantasy fights get out of control. That is definitely true. New Boxing Wave Media. We going to set up a date so we can talk about this and why I say these new boxers are killing me. These dudes all try to avoid each other to fight. Basically, the best need to fight the best. New Boxing Wave Media. I have a feeling I know what you're talking about. We're gonna set something up so you can give us some details in regards to that. Robert Brown, where is Wilder evidence at? He's a fool. Robert Brown, that's all we asking for, brother. That's all we asking for. We're not anti anybody. We just asking for evidence at this point because it's too much back and forth tabloid talk. You know what I'm saying? Speak your mind, sports talk. Nakatani is not an IG model.
That's
true. Very true. And often left out of the conversation at 135. Actually, you know what? Nakatani. Somebody mentioned Nakatani and Loma. Might be going down in Loma's return fight. If that's the case, that's a good fight.
That's a good fight.
That's a real good fight.
That's a good fight.
That's a real good fight. But speak your mind, sports talk. That's 100% facts. Nakatani is far from an IG model for sure. Cuzzy TV, Mickey Bay said Devin hitting so hard that he gonna have to move up to fight Crawford. Then goes 12 again, Boa. That's funny.
I don't want to. I like Devin Haney. I don't want to take anything away.
I love Devin Haney's game,
but I just feel like one of the worst things that he could have done was sign that deal for the zone, because all of a sudden he's in the limelight, and since he's had that fight, since he signed to the zone, his learning has reduced. He hasn't had those learning fights that you want to see him have. You know, I want to see him have that. If you look at Shakur and the way Shakur's moving, I was much more of an admirer of Devin Haney than Shakur, but now Shakur's actually starting to have those learning fights, have those testing fights, and he's starting to impress me so much more. And that's what I just wanted for Devin Haney.
Yeah, even with Devin Haney, like a Luke Campbell fight would have been good. I want him to fight Teofimo. I want him to fight the top guys, but I'm like, if he's not gonna fight the top guys, give me a Linares, give me a Luke Campbell. Like,
who is even good would have been the guy who's about to fight Teofimo, George Kambosos Jr. That would have been a good fight.
Kambosos would be a good fight. To be honest with you, Rolly Romero would be a good fight.
Exactly.
There's a lot of action for Haney. It's just the guys that he's fighting is not presenting any problems to him. So we can't see that next level when it comes down to Devin Haney. Like, we can't see it. Speak your mind, sports talk. Bro, I just had Bill Haney on my channel today, and we're talking about this situation. We have to accept what's available as well. Definitely. Speak your mind. Definitely. Let us know when that drop. That's big. That's big. You got Bill Haney.
But what I would say to Bill Haney, and this is no disrespect to Bill, because I actually respect Bill as well.
You know he retired now.
Yeah, I know. I know. I respect that he retired as well, because I actually like that. Normally people stay with their son because they just want to stay with the limelight, but he actually done what's best for him. But in terms of Bill Haney, I'd say to him, you accept what you get, that's true, but you also have to remember who you signed with. And I'm from England, so it's not like I'm against Eddie Hearn. But what you have to remember is you're signing with a person who struggles to make big fights in America. Not because he does anything wrong, but just because of the reputation he has. You're in a division where Bob Arum controls the division. And to me, I just feel like you're seeing it. It's a constant trend. You know, Eddie Hearn has struggled. Other than Canelo, he struggled to make big fights with his with other American promoters.
I'll add this though. Devin Haney is kind of operating under his own like promotional company in a sense. So I think the zone, I think they offered him. I think they offered him something that no other company was going to offer him. So I think at the time, I think it was the best situation for him in terms of like his future.
Building a brand. But
Yeah,
I
like
would just say
building a brand.
just continue the learning to continue, because to me he was such a he's so young, but he's still quite advanced. And
Yeah, he's very advanced.
And I just look at people like Ryan Garcia, and I look at him, and he's nowhere near as talented as Devin Haney. I would even argue Teofimo isn't as talented as Devin Haney. It's just the application. It's just application.
I think Devin Haney is the most talented fighter at 135. We've been saying that. I think he's the most talented fighter. I mean, skill for skill, I think he's the most skillful fighter at 135. But speak your mind, sports talk. Congratulations on the interview, man. Like that's big, man. And when you making moves like that and you're on the come up, man, like that's to be saluted, man. So we salute you for that, man, for sure. Blight Sneed, I would like to see Haney versus Loma. I would like to see it too, but we're gonna see what Loma gonna do. Speak your mind, sports talk. There's actually
flirting
with Javier Fortuna right now. Listen, I'm with it. Like that's not the first time they've been flirting with a Fortuna fight. Like that's been mentioned about 4 or 5 times. So I don't know where the disconnect is, but I would love to see that fight. Like I would love to see it. I like Devin Haney. He wants the big fight, but when you're waiting for the big fight, you got 2 choices. You could either sit on the sidelines or you could take some other action. I'd rather just for Devin Haney to take some other action. I think he's good enough to handle it. You know what I mean? Cuzzy TV, Linares been stopped at every weight class. If he can't stop him, that's a problem.
Of course.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. And the thing, Blunt always say, like after the shoulder surgery, he don't think Devin Haney can crack like that. What do you think about that, Shay?
I don't think that it's got anything to do with him being able to crack. I just feel like, I don't know how to put it, but it'd be so easy if I was to use another sport as an example. But it reminds me a lot of when Floyd, when he stopped Ricky Hatton, and when he failed to stop other fighters, or when he even stopped someone like Diego Corrales, for example. It's not that Corrales is chinny. It's just that there's certain fighters that open themselves up a bit more. Gamboa was a fighter where he didn't open himself up as much as he did against Terence Crawford or as he did against Tank.
He was more reserved.
He's more reserved. And I feel like you have to bear that in mind. Some fighters just find it hard to break fighters down, and when fighters are aggressive, that's when you start to see their power. I just feel like he's not a go come forward fighter. He's not a fighter who goes out there and gets knockouts. It reminds me of Andrade. When Andrade fought his Luke Keeler, he struggled to get the knockout, and he ended up looking really bad trying to get the knockout, and he lost a lot of what we saw as the normal Andrade, just looking for a knockout. And that's what happens. Certain fighters are just not that style of fighter. And I feel like Devin Haney's not a fighter who is a come forward knockout fighter. He can crack, but it's not his style to just go forward and disregard defense.
Yeah, the main thing I would look out for, there's very few guys that got like one punch knockout power. The thing is, are you letting guys just run in the front door without paying them admission fee? That's what I look for. And can you fight in multiple ways? Those are 2 things that I look for. Said Nakatani and Loma was said to be in talks. Bob Arum said it himself. We would it. Robert Brown, Fury like to use elbows, headbutt, chokeholds. It's unbelievable. Also hitting Deontay with the palm of his hand is illegal. Let me get at that real quick. There are certain fights where Fury fights dirty. I think the dirtiest fight he ever fought in his life was against Steve Cunningham. Anything that he did to Deontay Wilder is nothing compared to what he did to Stephen Cunningham. That was like saying a lot dirty. You know what I'm saying? I'll also say the hitting Deontay Wilder with the palm of his hand. I'm assuming you're talking about that left hook, that lead left hook, straight right hand combo that Andre Ward pointed out, where he said it was an open palm. That was the floppy glove. If that's what you're talking about, that's that floppy glove that we're talking about. But to be honest with you, I seen it less than 5 times in the first fight. Like actual video, I seen it less than 5 times or less in the first fight, and did not see it in the second.
I again, I just feel like some people have. Robert Brown, you're an old head, so you should know. It's something we see in boxing all the time. Fighters are just heavyweights, especially. You know, they fight dirty, and I just feel like it's illegal, but it's happening.
They're gonna do what they can get away with.
Tyson was a dirty fighter. Tyson used to use his elbows, his head. He used to do everything. Evander Holyfield used to do it. A lot of these guys, they fought dirty. I mean, what's it called? I remember when Lennox Lewis, when he fought certain short fighters, he just tied them up on the inside and do some excessive grappling. So it's
Robert Brown can relate to this. Lennox Lewis is one of his favorite fighters. What Lennox Lewis do to Michael Grant?
That's one of the.
Did he not palm the side of his hand and was like, "Let me give you this uppercut real quick"? Like this, I guess Robert Brown. This is my thing. I'm like, if somebody's a dirty fighter, they're a dirty fighter. I'm not going to say that they're crafty. People that's dirty fighters and you like them, they'll say they crafty. A dirty fighter that you don't like, you'll call them dirty. Like I think Bernard Hopkins is one of my favorite fighters of all time, but he's one of the dirtiest fighters of all time. I'm not gonna say he's crafty. He was a dirty fighter. He had crafty tactics from a boxing standpoint, but just as a fighter, yeah, like he was a dirty fighter. Like you take Chino Maidana. Chino's a dirty fighter. You know what I'm saying? So it's just I don't like to you call out somebody that's doing dirty tactics, cool. As long as you don't call them crafty, I think it's fair game. Bruce Goes, what's going on? Bruce Goes, what's going on with you, player? You only got a couple more left, bro. Then we're gonna get up out of here. Hold on. I lost my spot. Oh, I'm back at it. Speak Your Mind Sports Talk is a bittersweet deal, fam, because without the influence of a major promoter, it's harder to navigate through the sport of boxing. The partnership is with Matchroom, not the Zone. In a sense, you're correct, but Matchroom is in bed with the Zone. So they all he's with Matchroom, but you probably not gonna see him on ESPN, or you're not gonna see him with
Matchroom USA are owned 45% by the Zone.
Yeah. Say that again for the people that didn't hear you.
I said Matchroom are owned 45% by the Zone, or 40%, something like that.
A lot of people don't know that. Fuzzy TV, Chris Colbert fight the best competition out of all the young fighters and never won a belt. That's how you know boxing is watered down. Chris Colbert is going to be one of those guys that I don't know if he's ever going to get a shot at the big guys. And I don't know why, because he talked the talk, he walked the walk, he got the style. I don't know. Chris Colbert, he's fought good competition in his career. And I like Chris Colbert as a fighter. I think he play around a little too much in the ring, but I get it. But I don't know if he's going to get a shot at the big guys. Tank's not taking on no, you know what I'm saying? Like Chris Colbert, I don't know what he can do to build his name up more, because he's done quite a bit. And I like Chris Colbert. Huh?
Did you sign him?
EPBC.
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 It's a tricky one because
Yeah, it's tricky.
But he's a second-rate PBC fighter at that division, and
Yeah,
Tank
but
game
he has the
struggles to get.
skills of a top. He has the skills of a top fighter.
No, I mean second-rate in terms of his name. You know,
Popularity and things like that.
Tank struggles to get fights at 130 or 135 because of how heavy he is saturated with top-ranked fighters.
Yeah. Cuzzy TV, Bob told him long ago, you signed to the wrong promoter, and they laugh now. Look, yeah, I mean, you can say that, but you know, like it depends on the division, it depends on the situation. Like it's just, I think you can't. I put it to you like this, Cuzzy TV. There's not one promoter you can sign with, and you're not going to have some type of political pull or political problems. If you sign with Al, you're gonna have political problems. If you sign with Aram, you're gonna have problems. If you sign with Eddie Hearn, you're gonna have problems. Like
it's like if you look at Jamal Charles, for example, if Jamal was at 154, he would have all the fights in the world.
Yeah, all the fights.
160, he ain't got no fights. He can't get any. So
if he goes up to 168, it's not. They gonna play around with him there too, because I'm like, he's not guaranteed to get a Benavidez fight. He's not guaranteed to get a Plant fight.
Then you look at someone like Crawford, he's at 147, you can't get any fights. But if he was at 140, he'd be able to get all the fights. So it's just
okay. Yeah, it's crazy. Speaking my sports talk, I have a link for you if you want to watch the live. We talk for about 4 hours. Damn, that's love. Talk for about 4 hours straight. So YouTube is still processing it, but you can view it with the link. Bro, drop it in the chat. Let everybody watch. Get your views up.
No, the link is not been fully processed yet. That's why. That's what he means.
Okay. You know what I'll do, bro? If you want, get with me on IG, Box with G5 Jeff TV. I am _Shane. That's Shane's joint on Instagram. Send us the link when it get done. I'll post it on my social media. I'll post it on Facebook. I'll post it everywhere. I'll post it everywhere for you. Like you did a joint like that, man. You deserve all the views you can get. So definitely send that to us. Mine at Cuzzy TV. Haney will most likely not stop him. Gamboa was stopped in every fight he lost and dropped in every fight he lost until Haney didn't stop or drop Gamboa. Let me get at that real quick. That's a solid point. That's definitely a solid point. And with Linares, it really depends on what Linares is going to show up. Is the Linares at Fort Loma going to show up, or is the Linares going to show up where he's getting stopped in the first round? You don't know at this point. You don't know what Linares is going to show up. But if that Linares show up at Fort Loma, Haney in for a night. I think he still would win. He's in for a night. Definitely. It ain't no easy night at the office. So that's speaking my talk. That's a great point. That's a great point. TV, the Zone got Ryan fighting with fans and Devin fighting in hotel lobbies. And the Zone commentary talk bad about him while he fighting. He needs to get out of there ASAP. Let me get at that for a second, okay? I don't like Zone's commentating. To be honest with you, I don't like anybody's commentating when it comes down to boxing. I have a problem with everybody. To be honest with you, the main people that I like commentating are not commentating right now. Antonio Tarver, Roy Jones, Max Kellerman can break down the fight for you. Those guys are not commentating. So I do have a problem with the Zone. Commentators. As far as the Zone having Devin Haney fight in hotel lobbies and things like that. The one thing I will say about the Zone, one thing I will say about Eddie Hearn, it depends on how you look at it. During the pandemic era, especially in the beginning of it, Eddie Hearn tried different things to give our guys an opportunity to get a check. I respect that, because he literally put a boxing ring in the middle of a street and surrounded the entire area. Now, it depends on how you look at it. You can look at it and say that's cheesy, or you can look at that and say that's innovative. It depends on how you look at things. But I'm like, he gave guys, and the Zone gave guys opportunities to eat during the heart of the COVID era. So I'm like, I understand what you're saying, but I respect what they were trying to do. They was like, all right, it's not the best situation, but we trying to give you some boxing, like, you know what I mean? So go ahead, Shane, speak on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not really against the zone that much. I just feel like Eddie Hearn doesn't have the best reputation.
Yeah, he doesn't. He don't have the best reputation in the States, and it's I'll get into why at another time. It's stupid why he doesn't have a great reputation here, but I'll get to that another time. But New Boxing Wave Media, today's boxing fans are the same people that pay damn near $80 to watch a senior citizen fight and Roy Jones and Mike Tyson fight. That's what boxing is now. Is a damn joke. Let me get at that real quick. The people that bought that fight are the casuals. The casual fans are the ones that take pay-per-view numbers over the top. Hardcore, if it was just hardcore fans won't take a pay-per-view over the top. You need a combination of hardcore fans, and then you need a bunch of casuals just tuning in. That's what got Floyd numbers so crazy. That's what got Canelo numbers crazy. That's what got Oscar De La Hoya numbers crazy. That's what got Manny Pacquiao numbers crazy. The casual fan is the key to having pay-per-views go over the top. I'll give you a prime example. The best pay-per-view last year was the Charlo pay-per-view, by far. That was the best pay-per-view. But the numbers wasn't great because the casual fan didn't take it over the top. But you had Jake Paul and Nate Robinson, and he had a bunch of casual fans buy it because they wanted to see Jake Paul fight, and it took it over the top. So I hear what you're saying, but we need to go through the process of basically converting the casual fan into a hardcore fan, and that'll give us more opportunities to put on good pay-per-views and things like that. And it's been a lot of BS pay-per-views too. Like, let's keep it a bean from the UK side and the US side, because what might be free for us, Shane got to pay for. What might be, like Shane got to pay for, we get it for free. So it depends on where. You know what I'm saying? Depends on where. But I hear what you're saying. Like, I hear what you're saying, bro. And we definitely gonna set up something. You know what I'm saying? L Dub Boxing G5, I got something for you. Check your DMs. We working. All right. L Dub and I be messaging back and forth all day long about boxing. Speak Your Mind Sports Talk. I just dropped you a link to the live on IG, G5Jeff TV. I followed you too. Appreciate that. Yes. I'm gonna post that all over the place. I'm gonna post it all over the place. Shane, I'm gonna send it to you as well, so you can post that. TV. Fury wanted blood when it came to Cunningham. Yes, he did. Yep, that's a fact. That is a fact. Salute, brother. Okay, speak your mind. Wilder, a dirty fighter himself. Let me speak on that real quick. You lucky BoxingFirst Vlog not in here. He jump on your head saying that. There's a lot of video of Wilder landing hooks, and they land behind a guy's head. But he throws hooks so crazy when he think he got you in trouble. I don't think he's being intentional when he does that. That's the only time I've seen him actually do something you could say is dirty. I don't think those shots behind the head are on purpose. If you want an example of a crazy hook, go to the Bermain-Stavern fight. Yeah, like the Bermain-Stavern fight, I literally think he turns into a different person. Like, I think he turns into a character or something. Like, when he think he got somebody in trouble, like the fundamentals go out the window. Like, so, but it's like a guy like Fury, though, he's so technically sound. When he does something dirty, I tend to believe he knows what he's doing.
It's a bit more systematic, and
more so than Wilder. Robert Brown Holyfield was dirty big time. He was dirty when he got in trouble. When he got in trouble, he was dirty. He was gonna hit you with that little short, low shot to the nuts. That's what he was hitting you with. Like, he was in his elbow game was crazy too.
Exactly.
His elbow game was crazy too. Let's see. L Dub. Lennox was dirty as fuck against Bruno. Yeah, he was. He was. Yeah,
It's just a part of boxing. It's boxing. But that's not,
yeah, and
boxing.
it's like, I look at it. I'm like, I look at the ref. I'm like, if the ref is letting them get away with it, they're gonna do it. And it's just what they say: if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely the case in boxing. Bruce Goes, Larry Holmes knew how to stick those thumbs in the eye. And to be honest with you, Bruce, Larry Holmes, one of the reasons why they went to thumbless gloves. So that's a fact. That's definitely a fact. Speaking Mind Sports Talk, it depends on who pays for the fight. If Top Rank or any other network were to put the money up for a Haney fight, he's not restricted to fight on the zone like the other fighters. That's true, but let me tell you this. That's true. But the one thing you don't want to do in boxing is burn a bridge. So another network may put up the money and he may be able to go over to that network. But let's be real, we both know boxing. After he gets done with that fight, they probably freezing him out.
Of course.
They freezing him out.
You also got to remember, they're not going to make a fight. And let's say it's Devin Haney versus Teofimo Lopez. If you think Top Rank is going to do a deal with Devin Haney for him to get all the belts and then go back to the zone.
And promoter 101, if they can't get options on both guys, they're not going to make the fight. They're not going to make the fight, especially when his belt's on the line. They're not going to make the fight. So what you said is true, but there's more to it than that. Cuzzy TV, Chris Colbert can become an IG model. He'll get a shot. That's funny. But he talking stuff on IG too. Like, you know what I mean? I just don't know. Like, for some reason, he's just not clicking yet. You know what I'm saying? Speaking Mind Sports Talk, this is the benefit of the Haneys being partnered with Eddie and not signed like the other fighters. Like, yeah, like Haney can still move around and do what he do. It's just kind of like in a political tug of war right now, but he can still fight other guys to keep himself busy while he's doing that. You know what I mean? So, but I hear you though.
Remember that Ryan Garcia is his mandatory. So being his mandatory, you should have a certain.
And Ryan Garcia don't even want that fight. Ryan Garcia don't even want that fight, which says a lot about Haney, how good Haney is. Robert Brown, the LDBC are biased, big time, not good. Let me speak on that real quick. When people mention the LDBC, I try not to mention the LDBC as a whole, because there's a couple guys that's with the LDBC that I'm cool with, like outside of boxing. Like they cool people, and you talk to them about boxing off camera, they know what they're talking about. I think there's about 4 or 5 channels that people think defines the whole movement. And what I will say is that there are some people that are in that, you know, that rep that are good dudes, like they know they boxing. Like Stay Ready. Stay Ready is LDBC, but Stay Ready, that's my guy. That's our peoples. He's been on the show and all that. Like, big shout out to Stay Ready Boxing. King Louis used to be a part of them. You know, we cool with him. You know what I'm saying? Nino Brown Boxing, like he's a part of LDBC. We cool with him. So it really, when you have 4 or 5 channels or 4 or 5 people that kind of defines the movement, if you don't like those 4 or 5 channels, then it poisons the movement. You know what I mean? So, but there's some channels that make their living off of talking about the LDBC, and I'm like, it's counterproductive, because I'm like, if your whole channel is about the LDBC, what's going to happen if the LDBC goes away? That means you don't have the channel.
It goes back to the same. No publicity, bad publicity. Are you hating on them? You kind of giving them a bit more.
Yeah, like basically using them to get your numbers up and all that. I'm like, you're kind of bigging them up in a sense.
When it comes to the LGBTQ, and this is something that I've probably never been on camera speaking about them before as well, is the fact that you have to remember that they speak about specific things, you know. So unless that specific thing is a topic worthy of discussion, like for example this wider topic, there's no point really speaking about that. There's so many things that is spoken about in this channel that
Yeah, LDBC don't even speak about. So there's
Yeah,
no need for there to even be a conflict because
yeah,
if
we
we're
don't
talking
even.
about a certain weight class or a certain race
Yeah,
of fighter, it's not going to come up in the LDBC
yeah.
discussion.
We don't. We talk about everything, but we talk about everything, but, and I'm like, any of them dudes are, they're invited just like anybody else is invited. But we talk about so much stuff, we don't have time to get to that. You know what I mean? It's just, if you feel like that's the case with them, just don't watch. You know what I mean? Like, it's up to you what you want to watch and what you don't want to watch. Bro, I'm trying to get through the comments, but they keep coming, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Speak your mind. He said they will probably hook up with Eddie again because they're moving better than many believe they are. I'm
They're not.
assuming
They're actually not. They're
somebody.
actually not. Huh?
Say it again, bro.
I said they're actually not. They're not doing good at all.
Nah, not at all. Blight Sneed, I need advice. Do you think Jamel Herring beats Frampton? I'm thinking of betting 300 on Herring. Woo! Who is the underdog on the betting lines? Shane, I'm gonna let you get at that. Go ahead.
I'll put money on Herring. I'll put money on Herring because Frampton can't punch. So you're basically asking a guy, where's the fight? Yes, what country is the fight? Is it fight in
Oh, it's
America?
in Frampton backyard.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, that makes it a bit difficult.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because it could be a robbery. I can see it being a robbery.
Yeah,
I can see it being a robbery. Oh, wow.
I'll give you some advice. Keep that 300 in your pocket. Boxing is the only sport where you can clearly win a fight and the judges can take it from you. I wouldn't put any money on a guy that's fighting on the road unless they had extreme power and they can get a guy up out of there.
Exactly.
Jamel Herring is not knocking out Carl Frampton.
And
So
just by the way,
I would bet on it going the distance. If you want to put 300 on something, I'll bet on it going the distance.
Just by the way Herring fights, he would win the fight, but he's always vulnerable for counterattacks.
Yeah, Blight Sneed, I would put money on if wherever you bet, like if they have over under as far as rounds, I would bet over. Or the fight going the distance, I would bet something like that, like a prop bet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuzzy TV, Loma, Russell was one off. Both promoters had confidence in their fighter that fight. Let me speak on that real quick. I'm gonna make it real quick. We're gonna keep it moving. Cuzzy TV, that was a purse bid. That was a purse bid, and they had to fight. Like, they had to fight. Loma was a mandatory. It was a purse bid. PBC won the purse bid. And what I think happened is that they didn't think Loma. They didn't think Top Rank was gonna send Loma over there. They sent him over there, and he took care of business.
Yeah.
Fact. Let's see. Speak your mind. G5 Jet TV and Shane. We got to chop it up about the Haney and Hearn deal because I have some inside information that I think I can furnish you guys with. That's what's up. We'll we definitely we all for inside information and we got inside information too. So we can talk. We can have a conversation. That is exactly correct about the LDBC. There's a bunch of solid cats in the LDBC, and I tell people that all the time. There's always bad apples in the bunch. I'm telling you, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna tell you, generally speaking, I'm not saying this is me or Shane or anybody in the chat. When you hear a person talk about the LDBC, you hear Fanon, you hear Barbershop Conversations, you hear Dante's Boxing Nation, you hear Boxing Eagle, you hear 70, you hear Trill Boxing. Like, it's those six that
even with those
that are
guys,
mentioned.
the reason why I feel like it's not even that. They're very isolated in what they cover. They're very isolated in what they cover.
Yeah.
I feel like as a boxing fan, you find it your paths rarely cross. If you're a true boxing fan, your paths rarely crosses the LDBC because they cover such a niche part of boxing. So because of that, like when they're talking about Wilder and Fury, there's so many fights. Like
If it wasn't for Breland versus Wilder, we wouldn't even be talking about Wilder this week. We'd be talking about something else. So
We'll talk about we probably be talking about the top rank card that's coming on. That's coming on Saturday.
That's my point. So it's just they're very niche in what they speak about. So it's not even that I hate them or I like them or dislike them. I don't cross paths enough with them on like my search engine for me to even click on enough videos because they're just very niche.
Even I forgot another one, Blue Blood. You definitely got to throw him in there. Blue Blood, Boxing Eagle, like those, they have a core like 6 to 10 channels that a lot of people talk about that they have, a lot of people have problems with, and they think they're the only people that's in the LDBC. You know what I'm saying? So, like you said, like I said, we're cool with about 4 or 5 of them that that rep the LDBC. Just because they rep the LDBC doesn't mean they don't know they boxing. It's just LDBC has a reputation because of those 6 to 10 channels. And if you really dive into it real deep, you gotta take each individual channel and each individual person and evaluate that individual channel or that individual person, no matter if they rep LDBC or not. There's plenty of channels I don't like and they not LDBC. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's, but it's facts though. It's facts. Jay Banks, what's going on? Jay Banks always in the building. New Boxing Wave Media, the dirty boxer that nobody speaks about is Floyd Mayweather because he did it with craft. A lot of boxers fight dirty, and it's all about if you get caught doing it. That's just boxing. Shane definitely made that point. What I also say, New Boxing Wave Media is Floyd had a lot of things. Floyd did a lot of things early to find out what the ref is gonna let him get away with. You know what I'm saying? His elbow was notorious. You know what I mean? But he was very crafty with it, so I definitely give you that. Speak Your Mind, Blood Boxing, Scrapbook, Stay Ready, Cali, and many other channels are solid and come with what they believe to be true. I don't know Scrapbook. I know Cali, Stay Ready. That's my guy. I'm assuming you're talking about Blue Blood, but yeah, they got solid people. It's just as a movement, they just have a reputation. New Boxing Wave Media, and Mayweather is my favorite fighter. Facts. That's definitely your favorite fighter for sure. Toshi, what's going on, Toshi? We ain't seen Toshi in a while. Wilder needs to be the top fighter to get his respect back. I just think he need to get back in the ring. Period. I just think he needs to get in the ring. Period. Like he's gonna face a decent guy. Period.
Wilder's never really needed to beat anyone.
Yeah, like we just need to see him. If he has a fight schedule, then they're not gonna be talking about all this crap. This story still has legs to it because he don't have a fight coming up.
You know what it is then? I want to say you hid, but for lack of a better word, you hid behind the fact that he had a belt and how significant he was in the division and how he was the main guy in the division because for the most part, he was the final jigsaw puzzle. When Klitschko had the belt, he was the final jigsaw puzzle. When Tyson had the belt, he's the final puzzle. And AJ, so he's always been so significant. It's always been Wilder and somebody else, Wilder and AJ, Wilder and Fury. He's never been the one who's on the bench. Now he has to play that position, and I just don't think he's gonna. With such a deep division, I just don't think he's gonna play that position very well.
It's a lot of action for Deontay Wilder at heavyweight. It's just not a lot of action on his side of the street. But it's 2 or 3 fights that he can fight on his side of the street just to get the ball rolling. Like he wants to get to either Fury or AJ. Like that's the main goal. So he's only gonna fight 1 or 2 guys other than that anyway. Beams 2K, what's going on? We ain't seen you in a minute. What's up there, gentleman G Fizzle and Shane? Was good? Everything straight, brother. We just in here cooking up, man. Way longer than expected, but we cooking up. Speak Your Mind, guys. Great live stream. I gotta take off. Keep up the good work. FYI, Dante and Eagle are not LDBC. Yeah, they're not LDBC, but their names get mentioned with LDBC all the time. And when they have their gatherings and get-togethers, they're there. So that's the perception. Cuzzy TV, LDBC understands controversy sells. Listen, no knock against them. They do what they got to do. And as far as marketing and things like that, when you mention YouTube and you mention boxing, LDBC is the first name that comes up because they're notorious. So I don't have nothing against them in terms of how they operate. You know what I'm saying? And Speaking Mind Sports TV, Sports Talk, not FYI, didn't mean to come off like that, but just saying though, Dante, Aki TV, and Ego are not LDBC, but many people think they are. That's exactly what I said. Like they think that they're LDBC, but LDBC, they mention them a lot as well. So they don't do much to kind of say like, hey, they're not a part of us. But yeah, like their names are a bunch then, but you're correct. They're not a part of the LDBC, Dante's Boxing Nation, Aki TV, and Boxing Eagle. So that's definitely a fact. Just for the people, that was the end of the comments. For the people that don't know, Shane is in the UK right now, so it is 2:18 a.m. where Shane is. Big shout out to UVP for rocking with us. We're gonna definitely close it right there. We was only expecting to be on for like 45 minutes tops, and we ended up being 2 hours. So big shout out to everybody that jumped on. VP, you got any final thoughts and give them your social media?
That's kind of thank you for everybody tuning in with a little effort and attention. This is the sacrifice being spoken about for the whole week. I can imagine that people will carry another while of reading talking about. I'm prepared to pretend I was a big so thank you.
Yeah, and you can follow me on Twitter, G5JeffTV, Instagram, Box with G5JeffTV, Facebook, G5JeffTV, all boxing, all day long. Had some technical things going on the channel, and we was in YouTube jail for 90 days. So it's kind of stopped the momentum a little bit, but it felt good to get on here and really chop it up with you guys. And I just seen that comment come in. I'm gonna get to that in a second. Feel good to be back on live and get interaction with the people. And this is something that we're gonna be doing basically on a daily basis. We're gonna turn it into the podcast, the Boxing Plug podcast. We just want to make sure everything is right from a technical aspect, make sure the backgrounds is good and everything. So we got some things we got to figure out with that, but that's definitely coming. We're gonna get to this last comment. D Hodges, great show, bro. I had a ball. I definitely be back. Said LDBC salute. Big shout out to you, D Hodges. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna try to jump on everybody's lives when they have lives. We equal opportunity over here. So, if you're on live and we ain't doing nothing, we definitely gonna jump in, show some love, show some support. I just want to do a quick roll call before we get out of here. Big shout out to B Hodges, Mind Sports Talk, TV, 2K, who came in the building, New Wave Boxing Media, who else? Jay Banks, Blake Sneed, Robert Brown, Bruce Goals, my boy L Dub Boxing. Let's see, who else we forgetting? We said Cuzzy TV, New Boxing Wave Media. So I'm scrolling up the chat, and it's a long ass chat. Long chat. Hold on. It's Philly 215. Sawa R. Father Christmas. Yeah, we was in here chopping it up for a minute. My boy DT Boom, man. Let's see. Ineckle. Big shout out to Ineckle. We had a couple of new people in here. Definitely big shout out to them. But yeah, so big shout out to everybody. Big shout out to our bro BoxingFirst Vlog. He couldn't jump on. I knew he was working. But future shows we're gonna have him on. Things gonna be more structured. Things like that. We're working and still trying to figure things out all at once, man. So we appreciate y'all patience. VP, I appreciate you staying on, man. And we're gonna close it out there, man. So we're gonna announce when we're going on live next. Hopefully we can jump on tomorrow. We're definitely gonna jump on Saturday, and probably Sunday as well. But on behalf of G5 Jeff TV and VP Shane, we are out.